Hi, this is the video for equivalent ratios, and the worksheet looks like that. So the first thing we're going to do is look at the word equivalent. Equivalent means equal. Okay, so this literally means that we are trying to come up with ratios that are equal. You have been making equivalent ratios with your double number lines. Those number lines that you're making actually make equivalent ratios. So equivalent, you can see the little word in there. It means simply equal. Okay, so equal ratios. So for the worksheet that you need to do, you have all of these numbers. So what we're trying to do with this is we are trying to make each side equal. So for example, I like to write my ratios as fractions because that just helps me. You can write them, keep them with the colons or whatever you want to do. The thing about it is you have to make sure that you get the right number either at the top or the bottom. So for the first one, it says 24 to 56 is equal to 3 to what number? Okay. So what I want to do is I want to see how did I take 24 to 3? Okay. First step is you're going to ask, is it getting bigger or smaller? Okay. So we think about, okay, going to 24 to 3. Okay. So first step you're going to ask is the number getting bigger or smaller? That's our first step. Okay, so if I go from 24 to 3, that means that I'm getting smaller. Okay, so if the numbers get smaller, so it means you're going to need to figure out what has been divided. If the numbers get bigger, you're going to need to figure out what has been multiplied. Okay, so if the numbers get smaller, like this one, you're going to figure out what to divide. If the number gets bigger, you're going to figure out what to multiply. Okay, so let's go back to 24 to 3. So that 24 is, when I go to 3, it's smaller, so I know I need to divide out something. Okay, so I know 24 divided by what number is going to give me 3? Well, I know 24 divided by 8 equals 3. Okay, see that? So now I'm going to come down here. Whatever I do to the top, I'm going to do to the bottom. I'm going to say 56 divided by 8. See, I did it up here, I did it down here, equals 7. Okay, then you can come back to your worksheet and fill in 7. Okay, let's look at number 2. Move that up. Okay, so number 2 says 44, and I'll show you how to do it with keeping it in this form. 44 to 20 equals blank to 5. Okay. This time I have to figure out what number comes first. So I'm looking at how did 20 get to 5? Well, 20 to 5, it gets smaller, so I'm going to look at my first step and I see that I'm going to need to divide something. So 20 divided by what number is going to give me 5? And that is 4. 20 divided by 5 is 4. To get to the top, to get to our missing number, we divide that same number by 4. So 44 divided by 4 is 11. I'm going to go back to here and put my ratio in here. Okay, I'm going to switch to another piece of paper so you can see a little bit better. Okay, let's look at number 3. It says 40, and I'm going to go back to, I'm going to alternate between doing the fraction form and the colon form. Okay. So, and we always want to look at the numbers going across with ratios. We never want to go sideways or anything like that. So we're always looking across. Okay. So I'm going from 40 to 8. How do I get to 40 to 8? Well, I'm going to have to divide a number, something, because going from 40 to 8, you end up with a smaller number. So I know 40 divided by 5 is 8. Okay. And then what I do at the top, I have to do at the bottom. So I do 25 divided by, same thing, 5, gives me this missing number, which is 5. Okay. And let's look at number 4. I'm sorry, that was number 3 right there. They're following along. Here's number 4. Okay. And I'm going to do this one with the colon. I'm just going to leave it as is. So if you're working right on your worksheet and you don't want to write it out on another piece of paper, you can do this. Okay. Now this one has the mystery number. It's kind of like the number you have to figure out, and the first one is still the same. Okay. So we want to look at the first two numbers. I'm going from 4 to 20. Okay. So we can do it this way. So 4 to 20. So I know I have to multiply by 5 to get 4 to 20. Now for this one, I have to ask myself, what do I need to multiply by 5 to get 15? Like what number would be right there that I would need to multiply by 5 to get to 15? Well, that number is 3. Okay, so that would be 3. Now on this one, that was a little bit confusing. You could have done it like this. So say that's our mystery number. If it makes you feel better, you can definitely flip them. Like if you don't like the mystery number coming first, this is the same thing. Okay, you see how I just flip you can just flip them. So this one's gone. The same thing. You just have to make sure to get your numbers right, and then you can do it just like we were doing it. So 20. So we know we're going to divide by 5 for that. We're going to divide by 5 for that because we did it on the bottom. So 20 divided by 5 is 4. That's right. 15 divided by 5 is 3. Same thing. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to switch to the worksheet here. You can kind of see my pen drawing. Okay, so I'm going to try to show you right on the worksheet how to do it. So we're looking at 5 to 9 is equal to what to 72? What number is 72? So I'm going to look at the two numbers that I do have. I have 9 and 72. Okay, so there's not my 9 and 72. I'm going to ask myself, how do I get 9 to become 72? Well, to do that, I'm going to have to multiply by something because 72 is much bigger than 9. So I'm going to say 9 times, I'm going to think in my head, try to figure out my facts. This would be a good place to use your multiplication tables if you don't know your facts very well. That 9 times 8 is 72. Okay. And what I do to one side of the ratio, I got to do the other. So then we get 5 times 8 for our answer. So I'm going to do it times 8 up here as well. So 5 times 8 is 40. Okay. And let's do one more right on the worksheet. So if you're working right on the worksheet, you can do that. I'm going to switch colors, I think. Yeah, let me just switch color. There we go. Okay, so let's look at this one. Again, if you don't like that your mystery number comes first, you're welcome to rewrite it. It's okay. We're going to look at the two numbers we have, which is 8 and 2. Okay. To go from, I have to go backwards, but that's okay. To go to 2, to take 2 from 8, I know I have to multiply by something because we're getting a bigger number at the end. And I know that 2 times 4 is 8. So I'm going to multiply. I'm going to kind of write that down there so I remember that 2 times 4 is 8. And then to get my mystery number, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to multiply by 4. So there we go. There's me multiplying by 4. And 5 times 4 equals 20. Okay. So there's the first 6 done for you. If you have further questions, be sure and please come to the help session and I'll help you some more.